Hi there. In this video, we'll be covering our very first Python program, and then we'll understand about the variables, how to use them in Python program, and then we'll play around with some of the operations on top of that. In this video, we are not going to cover installation of Python or any IDE setup, but just in case you want me to cover that part, let me know in the comment section, and we'll certainly will create a video on that topic. So without further delay, let's get started. All right, so let's create a Python extension file that we are going to use for writing our program. So I'm just clicking in my one of the folder in my project, and I'm just saying create a Python file. You can just give any random, maybe I can just say Python video 1, right? So for any new beginner, on the very first program that you will learn in any programming language is hello world program. Basically it's nothing but just printing hello world. It's not very innovative, but still it gives a little bit confidence to the beginner, and then they feel familiarized with the tool. So we'll do the same, and we'll print hello world and execute it. So this is a simple print method, and inside it I have written this string hello world, and we are going to execute it. So in PyCharm, you want to execute it, you just right click and say run, and it will execute the program for you. So let's do that. Now a couple of information to observe here, that the very last line, it says process finished with exit code 0. In each and every programming language, when you execute your program, there is an exit code that returns after the program execution completed. In most of the programming language, you will see that 0 indicates that the program executed successfully, whereas any other non-zero exit code means you are in trouble and you need to play around and fix your code. So in this case it says process finished with exit code 0. It means your first Python program is successful. Congratulations. And then you see the very first parameter in this first console output line is the location where the Python is installed. So Python is installed in my C drive under the Python folder, and this is the python.exe, which is an executable file of Python. And then this is the entire path where our file is present that we use to write this program, and then this is the name of the file. I'm hoping this makes sense. And then you see at the bottom in the middle, you will see the output which you have tried to print in this very first program. So let's try printing a little bit more to be familiar with this. So I can say hello world, and then maybe just say India, right? It just so randomly I picked it up. If I run it, you see that India got printed. Maybe we can print another string. Maybe I love India, right? And if I run it, you see that the third statement also got executed. Now the takeaway here is that this processing is happening sequentially. So the very first line of this program says print hello world. That's why this line printed. And then the second statement says print India. That's the reason this India got printed. And then third, we ask Python to print I love India. That's the reason the third line got printed, and it is happening sequentially. So just for the sake of understanding, if I shuffle this a little bit, maybe I change this one as well, and if I run it, you see that because the programming sequence has changed, that's the reason that the output is also changed. So this clarifies that in Python, whatever you will write in your program will execute sequentially. There is another concept called object-oriented programming, under which you can specify functions, classes, and there are different statements through which you can control the execution of program that we will learn later based on the response on this video. But as a beginner, just consider this as like Python execute each and every statement sequentially. The way it is written in the program, the same way it will treat it. Now, so this is about printing, but you might be wondering what's the use case of just printing any string in the console, or maybe you want to write it into a file. But in programming, basically you have to write an instruction that generates some desired output, and now in order to do that, you have to have some kind of container where you can store the value and that you can use in your programming. So I'm going to introduce a concept called variables in Python that allow you to save values into a container, and then you can use it into your program. So in this example, let's say I'm creating a variable called name, and I'm assigning my name to this variable. Actually, I should write like this for better understanding, that this is a value, right? This is a value, and I want to assign it to a variable called name. So why I did this, just to explain that whatever is on your right side, that will get assigned whatever is written on the left side. So this value Sunil will get assigned to variable name. Okay, now to demonstrate that, let me print name, right? So if I do that, see, my name got printed, whereas you didn't ask Python to print my name but the variable name, but internally it stores the value as Sunil. So that's the reason it printed my name. Now we can change the value of a variable. So I can assign this time around my last name to this variable, and if I run it, it will push the value, recent value, to the name variable, and it will get printed. Now I can do a reassignment to the same variable. Here, let's say India, and then I can just print the same, and you will see it printed this time around India. Why this happened is because initially when we created this variable name, we assigned my last name, right? and then we printed this name variable with the value of my last name, which is Tikar. Now in the next statement we are using the same variable, but this time we are assigning value India into it, and then when we print it, because the most recent value inside that variable is now India, that's the reason India got printed. And now it doesn't matter how many times you print name, it's going to always print India, unless you do assignment again, like let's say name, and maybe this time you assign it to another name, which is Ram in this instance. And if I just print it again, you will see at the end Ram will get printed. So the takeaway is variables are here for your convenience, so that you can store the value based on your need, and then also you can change the value inside the variable based on your programming needs, which is not the best practice, but it is allowed in Python. Now there is one more concept you need to understand, which is you need not to stick to a type. For example, in this name variable I can just assign number 10, and then if I do print and say name, you will see number 10 got printed. This is only possible in Python. When you learn other languages like Java or C++, you won't be able to do that. So this is dynamically Python assessing the type of value which is assigning to a variable, and based on that it is acting up. Now because we have come that far, let's quickly learn about some basic operations on the variable. So we'll do a very simple math. So let's say I'm creating a variable called a, and I'm assigning a value, let's say 30, and then I'm creating another variable called b, and I'm assigning a value 20. And if I do answer, and in this time I will say a plus b. So basically what we are trying to do here is getting the summation of these two variables, and then if I print answer, I'm sure you guessed the answer here. Let me run it. So answer is 50, right? And you might be wondering why all these things are getting printed even though we are in this step. Reason being, when we are executing our program, as I explained earlier, all the statement which you have written at the top will execute. So that's the reason. So let's just focus in this section at this moment and try to understand that with more focus if you are a beginner. So what is happening here is this variable a gets the value of it from here, which is 30. So 30 is here, and then this variable b gets its value from here, which is b equals to 20. So 20 will come here, then this calculation will happen 30 plus 20, and then will get assigned to this variable answer. And then in the next statement we are printing this variable answer. So you can do same in the same equation. You can do subtraction. You can see the answer 30 minus 20, and then you can do multiplication 600, and then you can do division 1.5, and then you can do modulus as well. So because these two variables were having same type of value, which is number, that's why you were able to perform this operation. Now just to demonstrate what I'm saying, if I assign b equals to, let's say, Sunil, and then if I do a plus b, then you observe the error message. What it says that there is a type error, unsupported operand type for plus int and str, which is string. So what it indicates that, even you can read this line as well. It says there is an error in this file, right? This is the file where we are writing our code, and it's indicating go to line number 20. So this is line number 20, and it is saying that this is the statement where I'm having issues, which is this statement, of course. And what it's saying that unsupported operand for int and string. Basically what it's saying that you cannot do plus between a string and then a number. Now in order to solve this, I can do I can assign my last name into a, and just to make it presentable, I will just say b plus a, and maybe give a space here just to capture the space, and you can see my full name got printed here. So you can perform operations on the same type of variables, and if they are not the same, you will face error messages. So that's all in this video, and if you like it, please put some response in the comment section, and based on the feedback we'll create more videos. Until then, goodbye.